Hey there gaming fans, Darth Carnivorous here and welcome back to another epic gaming video. And guys, as promised, here is my handheld collection. So it's not really, well, I'm going to try and put it in kind of as the best order I can, sort of order of release date. So here we go. Okay, so first things first, and this is the video I done last night, and this is on my Game Boy Color. Yep, this one's got an IPS backlit screen, and yeah, this thing's beautiful. I do love this thing. I've actually I was playing it maybe about 10 minutes ago, playing for a good while. Now the thing is though, because this does have an IPS screen and it also has a flash card, the rechargeable batteries that I've got, even though they're really good ones, Energizer, I could probably get about 30. I was going to say 30 minutes there. 3 hours roughly out of them as well, so it's not so bad. I'm looking into getting like a battery pack, or maybe there's a couple of different mods you can do, and I'm thinking about maybe asking my friend. He's really good with things like that to see if he'd be able to do it. So that's pretty cool. But I do absolutely love this thing. Okay, so next I have a Game Boy Advance. This is just a regular Game Boy, but this one does have an IPS screen as well, and also has a flash card. Which this one it comes with this is a Zelda flash card, so it does have like a pretty much as every Zelda game on here for the Game Boy. It even has the NES titles as well, which is pretty damn cool. And even, I think it's the NES classic versions. This one is really cool. Like I said, it's got the IPS version 2. It also has a USB-C battery in here, and as you can see, the battery cover does have a little slot there for USB-C. And yep, this thing is great. I love the landscape mode. I just think when they brought out a Game Boy Advance, that was one of the coolest things ever. Even though it didn't have any backlit, people still accepted it and still played it like they normally would. But this form factor is just perfect. It really is. And speaking of Game Boy Advance, here we have this is one that is a completely modded one for obviously a Game Boy Advance SP. And here it is here. Now, this is something I've never shown before, okay, so I'll just turn this one on. Okay, so yep, this one is backlit as well. This one does have the IPS, I think. I don't know if this is the first or the second one, because you can only get 5 levels of brightness, whereas in that one you can get 10. That one there you can get 10 as well. As you can see, it's very bright. But this one does have two other things. Okay, so if I press and hold select, and then there we go. So yep, these ones do have obviously the buttons. Yes, these are programmable to obviously show off different colours. So yes, they do have LEDs behind them. I've just like red and green's like my two of my favourite colours, so I just have them like this all the time. It does look really good. You can put on like a rainbow mode. So like for instance, if I were to turn this back on, as you can see, and I do love this thing. Don't get me wrong, I prefer the form factor of that, but I do love this thing. I really do. Also, this one does have a USB Type C just right there, so you don't have to have I can't even say that word, proprietary charger. You don't have to have that one. So this one's USB C, this one's USB C. So that's really cool. Okay, so next I have my DSi XL. This one is completely moddy, so that's the thing, guys. Pretty much all of my handhelds, other than the last ones, aren't modded, or they're modded in some way, but not really anything special. And yeah, I do love this thing. This thing does not have a mark on it. As you see, I've got this like sort of plasticky, I don't even know what you call them. It's like sort of I can't even remember I can't even remember the material, but this thing is amazing. And like I said, guys, I've modded this one. It's got 160 games installed on a 32 gig SD card, and yeah, I love this thing. I love going back to it, and just playing like Mario 64, Metroid. What's that one called again? Uh, Metroid Prime. Metroid Prime. What the hell's that game called? That way I haven't totally blank. Hunters. Sorry guys. Metroid Prime Hunters. That way I just went completely blank there. Playing games like that, even like playing New Super Mario Brothers, playing like Aliens. My God, my memory's so bad these days. What the hell was that called again? I can't remember. Obviously, the Alien game on here. You get the Spider-Man games. You even get Thor. Marvel's Thor. That's actually a really good game on this one. And yeah, this is so damn cool. I love this thing. I really do. Okay, so moving on. Here we have my spirited green or whatever the hell you call it, PSP. Now I did buy a PSP 3000. I don't know, probably about a year ago. The thing is, though, it was in quite bad shape. You know, it's like with Sony products. They always, it's the same with Nintendo as well. They always use like it's decent plastic, but it's always coated in that sort of chrome, shiny material. It's horrible. I can't stand it. I mean, if you were to like display it, it would look beautiful. But see the fact that you get fingerprints, dust, scratches, anything can scratch, the shell. It's such a pain in the neck. But my friend actually switched the shell over this for me. That's why it's got black buttons. Because the button that came with this shell, the buttons were horrible. They're very, very stiff. They were responsive, but you had to press down slightly harder than usual, whereas in this one you just have to tap it. And yeah, I do love this thing. This one is modded as well, so I keep this one as basically just a portable PlayStation. It has, I think, 112 PlayStation games on here, maybe more. And yeah, I do love this thing, I really do. And the fact that it's got a new shell as well, I know that it's brand new and it just looks incredible. I love the black and green, that just looks so damn cool. Yes, I would have preferred to have the original button, or the buttons to be the same colour, but like I say, guys, they were kind of cheap feeling and quite stiff, so oh well. Okay, so this one right here, this is my sort of main go-to PSP. This one does have like my emulators on here. It does have all the PSP games I could ever want on here. It's got all the PS1 games as well. And the thing is, oh guys, this actually both of these do have 128 gig SD cards in here. It does have the micro SD card adapter as well. And this is my go-to PSP, so I want to play PSP games on the actual PSP system. Then this is one I go to, this is one I take with me, this is one I take into work, or maybe going commuting somewhere on a train or in a car or something. I always take something like this, or if I'm going to visit someone, usually I just take something to kind of cure the boredom, and I do absolutely love this thing. This is the original shell and buttons that came with it. It does have some little scratches on the screen because these screens are plastic, so unless it's brand spanking new out of the box, or like a reshell like this one, you're going to get obviously scratches and stuff like that. But the thing that I always look for, if I'm looking for second-hand PSPs, I always look, if they upload images, I always look at the ring on the back. Okay, so PSP 3000s have this smaller ring, whereas in the 2000 and 1000 have like a larger ring, and they're very, very easy to scratch. And that's what I look for. That's obviously how you know how good the condition of something is. If the back part is immaculate, then no doubt the front part's going to be immaculate as well. As you can see, this one is pretty much immaculate. There's a one or two little scratches. Just try to see if I can catch them on camera. They're very, very difficult to notice. The thing is, though, if you were to look at this for the first time, you probably wouldn't notice. I know they're there because I've obviously seen them. But if I didn't tell you about that, didn't show you, or whatever I said, by the way, there's a couple of scratches on here, you would never ever notice. Trust me on that one, guys. But like I said, guys, this is my go-to PSP. I do love this thing, I really do, and I love the buttons. The big D-pad, the big buttons. Don't get me wrong, I'm not really big on the analog slider, but you know what, something? It works. It really does. Okay, so next is my modded new 3DS XL. I bought this one about maybe 2 years ago. I did, the thing is, look guys, I do regret getting rid of it. I did have a 2DS XL. It was beautiful, it was in mint condition, not one mark on it at all. And I had this kick-ass looking Zelda Legend of Zelda skin on it as well, so it was a black and green model. It just looked absolutely phenomenal. And I don't know, at the time I really wanted to get a PlayStation 5, so I sold some stuff on eBay, and that was one of the things that I sold. Yes, it was modded as well. It had 128 gig SD card inside. Every DS game, every 3DS game, every GBA game I could want, it had that. And so the thing is, when I got this one, it does have a few scratches here and there. The screens are immaculate though, and I have got screen protectors on here, but a couple of marks on the body itself because these are really, really shiny, cheap, chrome plastic. So I decided to put this like sort of electricity skin on it, and it does look really good. Plus, if you've got a 3DS XL or even a 2DS XL, if you can get one of these sort of cases with these really tight hinges. Now the thing is though, with these consoles that are obviously dual screen and whatever else, they're prone to being like sort of floppy and stuff like that when you feel that the screen, a bit of give, whereas in these ones actually tighten the screen up and stop it from moving, so stop giving it any play, as so to speak. I mean, this thing doesn't even move at all. It's beautiful. So on this one, I've got every 3DS game I could ever want, all updated, all DLC, so you don't get the notification saying please update this game or whatever else. And everything's on here that I could ever want. It is absolutely amazing. And there's custom themes on here, custom splash screens as well. It just looks absolutely amazing. I do love this thing to death. I really do. It's one of my prized possessions. Okay, so speaking of prized possessions, here we have my PS Vita 1000. So this is the PS Vita OLED model. So if you've ever seen what an OLED screen looks like, you're probably watching this right now on your phone, which has probably got an OLED screen, or a tablet or something like that, or even a TV. These things are very, very beautiful because the blacks are blacks, the whites are whites, very, very vivid, popping out colours and stuff like that. And playing games on this thing is just amazing. It really, really is. This one right here is completely modded as well. This is modded by myself. And I think the only ones I didn't mod was this one. That was it. That's the only one I didn't mod. I bought this one modded. So this one right here, it's got a 512 gigabyte SD card in here. I mean, honestly, guys, the amount of stuff that I've put on here, I spent weeks putting stuff on here, and everything is updated. Everything has a DLC, just like the 3DS. And I do love this thing. This is one of my most cherished ones, but let's put that there. I also have a PS Vita 2000, and this one is in immaculate condition, guys. This was a Japanese one, I'm pretty sure I bought off someone, and this one was modded, but silly, like, stupid me at the time, I didn't really know much about, obviously, PS Vita modded mods and custom firmware and things like that, and I accidentally deleted some plugins, which if I knew back then, just to replace the plugins, everything would have worked fine. But the thing is, though, not accidentally, I just force reset or formatted the SD card. Silly me, yes. But then again, I actually learned how to mod it myself. That's how I modded that one, which is kind of like a win-win. So this one has a 200 gig SD card in here, and I've got a lot of PS Vita games, a couple of PS1 games, a couple of PSP games. I've got RetroArch on here as well with like pretty much all the emulators, as well as this one. This one I've got 140 PS Vita games, I've got 100 PSP games, I've got 150 PS1 games. And the thing is, guys, my next video is actually going to be PS1 games on this system. And the thing is, guys, I'm sure you'll look forward to that one because there's a lot of good information in there that I'm sure you guys will find very, very helpful. So stay tuned for that one. But yeah, this one here is absolutely immaculate condition. As soon as I bought this, I bought some screen protectors, and these are anti-glare screen protectors, and there's not one mark on the body whatsoever. Even the back touchpad. Whereas in this one it does have marks on it. Obviously, it was pre-owned, and I got it at a reasonable price as well. The only thing is, though, there's like you can't see it because I've got a glass screen protector on it, and there's like a tiny little scratch there. And I thought it looked like it was as if something was stuck to it, so I tried some isopropyl alcohol as well to try and get it off. It just wouldn't remove at all, and it does turn out as a scratch because these screens are plastic as well. But I've actually put a skin on this one as well, as you can see. Sorry guys, ignore the budgies. Apologies guys, sorry about that. Yes, I've put like a sort of metallic looking skin on this thing, and it does look amazing. It really, really does. And I do recommend, if you've got handhelds, get some cases like this because they add a lot more grip. Like this sort of plastic. The thing is, guys, like when you're playing something like this, your hands tend to sweat. My hands don't sweat a lot compared to some people. Some people I work with, like they shake your hand when they see you, and it's like shaking hands with a sponge. That's how sweaty some people can get. Whereas I don't get that sweaty. But when you get that sort of little bit of moisture on your hands, it can kind of help you grip things a bit easier, and especially with something like this. Plus, this thing will help protect your device somewhat. And yeah, I do love this thing, I really do. Okay, so the next one is, okay, so here we have my Nintendo Switch OLED. Yes, as you can see, I've got the Hori Split Pad Pro in here. Yes, I do still have the original Joy-Cons that came with these things, this thing, and the white ones. The thing is, though, guys, with the size of my hands, they're very, very, very cramped. Like, I have tried playing games with them. I do have a Skull and Co grip as well, which does make things a lot easier. But see, to be honest, guys, these things are absolutely perfect. I do apologise about the lighting; it's very, very dull in here. But if you know what ones look like, if you don't know what they look like, just kind of look them up yourself and you see for yourself. But this makes the games play so much better because there's full size buttons, full size D pad, full size analog stick as well. You can map your buttons as well to the back parts here, which is excellent. So if you're playing games like say Doom Eternal, and you need to click the right stick to do your glory kill, you just map it to here, and it makes it so much easier. If you want to use this one to, let's say, sprint, you can, but you can map it to obviously up, down, left, or right, or whatever else. The only thing is, though, you can't like mix and match. So you can't like have, say, the left side map to A, and obviously the right side map to like the left stick. It doesn't do that. It's only the buttons on this side map to here, the buttons on this side map to here. That's the only way that it works. I do love this thing. Look how thin this thing is. It's crazy how far we've came in technology with handhelds. I mean, this is a 7-inch OLED screen as well, so similar to your PS Vita. Obviously, it's a higher resolution or higher quality OLED screen. You probably wouldn't get any screen burn or anything like that. There's something on that screen. I can't really remember the words for it, but it's when if let's say for instance you play in total darkness and you're playing your PS Vita, you can see sort of black splodges on the screen. If it's like a really dark loading screen or something like that, that's when you see it. It doesn't affect the gameplay whatsoever. But I remember when I first got my PS Vita, and that's like one of the first handhelds I ever bought with my own money. And I remember seeing that and I thought, my thing was defective, and I read up a lot of stuff at the time, and turns out that they're all like that, so I just kept it. But this thing is beautiful. I mean, don't get me wrong, a lot of games on here don't run the best, but some games run amazing. I mean, games like Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, which I think other games that run absolutely incredible, that are a surprise, sort of game that you're like, oh my god, that actually runs on Nintendo Switch. And I can't really think of any games off the top of my head, so you can leave a comment down below and let me know what games I'm actually, not including, obviously, with that part, because I'm trying to think off the top of my head games that you never thought they would ever come out on Nintendo Switch, and they came out. It's absolutely crazy. But last but not least, here we have the Valve Steam Deck, and this thing is absolutely incredible, guys. I mean, if you're impressed by the Nintendo Switch, you would be even more impressed by this thing, because this thing's a lot more powerful than the Switch. Games that are on Switch run so much better on this. Like, you can run Doom Eternal, obviously the highest resolution that you can get on this, which is 1280 by 800, so 800p technically, and the 60 FPS as well. You notice a big difference. That's the thing though with like Nintendo Switch games. Not a lot of them do play 60, but a lot of them, the ones that these impossible ports do play at 30, or below. But games on this the Steam Deck do play a lot like higher. I mean, I've had so much fun. I'm not really playing this thing at the moment, but you know what? In a couple of weeks' time, a week's time, a couple of days' time, I'll be wanting to play this thing, and I do have a lot of games on it. I'm sure you're probably going to say, "Oh, I've got a hell of a lot more games than you." Fair enough. I do have just over 300 games, and that consists of like all the Resident Evils, Shadow of War, Shadow of Mordor, Grand Theft Auto. So all the big hitters that I do technically have, and to play them on the go is just, it's mind blowing how amazing these things are. How just, and this thing is so comfortable. I mean, like I mentioned before, guys, I have really large hands, so playing something like this is just amazing. The ergonomics as well for this is just so damn good. And the thing is, I prefer asymmetrical or symmetrical sticks, whereas in like the Xbox 360 or even the Nintendo Switch layout, obviously you get a stick down there, a stick up here. I prefer them like this, your sort of PlayStation style. I do love that. And obviously these do have programmable buttons back here as well, just like the Nintendo Switch, except these ones have 4. So it does make things a bit handier. Also you get shoulder buttons as well. Now, depends on the game you play. It's just like any other console. Depends on the game you play. It's going to depend how good your battery life is. If you play like God of War on this thing, or Spider-Man remastered, or Miles Morales, or even the new Resident Evil 4 that will be coming out in a week's time, you're going to run that battery down maybe an hour and a half, 90 minutes. Whereas in some games, you can get hours out of them. I mean, Resident Evil 2 Remake, I can get three and a half hours. it's just crazy. And that's on the recommended settings. Yes, because this is a PC, you can you can do tweak your settings as well. You can change your resolution. You can change obviously your quality of your games. You can turn things on, turn things off, and that's what I love. Playing games like Witcher on the go, which Witcher did come out on Switch, but it's only 30 FPS. On this one, you can get 60 FPS. It's absolutely insane. If you gave someone like a shot of The Witcher on Steam, not Steam Deck, on Switch, and then they played it for maybe 5 minutes, and thought, "Wait, this is impressive, this is great." But then you gave them it on this, they would notice the big jump in frame rate and clarity, and oh god, it's just amazing. I can't wait to see what the Steam Deck 2 is going to be like. Hopefully it gets an OLED screen. But the thing is, though, guys, a lot of people obviously want the OLED screen because they're used to it with their PS Vitas, they're used to it with their phones, their tablets, their TVs, obviously the Switch OLED as well. But the thing is, though, guys, I'm actually enjoying having, you know, the LCD screen for this one. It doesn't bother me one bit. And I mean, the colours are actually really good. Don't get me wrong, try to record this thing on camera. It doesn't look as good in real life. You see a lot of like light bleeding and stuff like that, but this one you don't see it in real life. Like with your own eyes, you wouldn't see it. Plus, this one does have the etched anti-glare screen as well, which is very, very reflective. As you can see, it's reflecting the LEDs under my TV unit. Um, but yeah, this is a 512 gigabyte model. I do have a 256 SD card in here. The thing is though, I did have a terabyte, but it fried my terabyte card. And if you want to know how that happened, I'll give you a long story short. I was downloading Metro Exodus, which runs amazing on the deck. But I was downloading it to the SD card, and it got to 61%. I remember that. And I thought, okay, I'll just leave it on. I plugged it in to charge it up as well because the battery was running low. And I walked the dog. Oh, sorry, I went for a shower, walked the dog, came back. The wife had just finished work, made dinner, came in, we'd eaten her dinner, we watched a bit of a movie, and then she wanted to go do her own thing. And I completely forgot about the Steam Deck. And I went, oh, that's right, I forgot I was downloading Metro. I'll have a go on that. And the thing completely froze. Like, I mean, it wasn't responding whatsoever. And if you know that when you're downloading, you get this sort of, I don't know what those sort of lines are. It's like, when someone does like when they charge up the heart thing to shock your heart, you get the beep, 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 these sort of lines. I don't really know what they're called. You can comment down below and tell me what they're called as well. Obviously, it gives you that when you're downloading the game, tells you how fast it's downloading, obviously your percentage as well. And when I went back to it, it was 61% still. I thought, that's weird. And it wouldn't respond at all, so I had to force shut down this thing. You hold the button in for 10 seconds and it'll reboot itself. And it wasn't picking up my SD card. Tried to put it into my laptop. It just kept coming up to format it. It was read only as well, so I couldn't copy anything. I actually gave it to a friend who's obviously like a PC, he's a PC nut, PC genius with things like that. He still has the card. He's still yet to give me it back. Obviously, I don't know what the hell to do with it, but he couldn't get it done. He tried to fix all the partitions as well. I don't really know about things like that, but he does. So I says, why don't you try it then? And he had his computer on for 26 hours, which is very, very appreciated. Him putting all that time in to try and help us out. It was actually him that helped me get the SD card as well. He bought it from eBay for £70 and he tested it to make sure it was 100% legit. And obviously, he gave me the bad news saying that it doesn't work. He put it in his Steam Deck, it just keeps rebooting. Obviously, you get the boot loop. He just kept doing the boot loop. And he tried to copy some other things to it, and it would like copy halfway, and then it would just completely shut off his PC. And I'm like, wow, I didn't know things were that way to do it, but I think it's just the way it crashes or something, he says. So it sucks, but I've got a 256 gig in here, and it's obviously a 512 model, so I've pretty much got all the games I could ever want. But on that terabyte, I had like Shadow of War, which is like over 100 gig. I had Grand Theft Auto 5, which by the way plays amazing on this thing. That was over 100 gig. I had the Halo Master Chief Collection as well, so I had a lot of really big games on there. And it bums me out knowing that all those games, you know, I, unless I get myself another terabyte SD card, which I'm gonna just spring out and get a 500 gig one, because I do have a couple of 500 gigs, but they're either in here or they're in my tablet. So I've got a 500 gig in my PS Vita. I've got a 500 gig in my Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra, which is right there, which obviously dwarfs pretty much all of them. But yeah, it does suck, guys. But you know what? As long as the Steam Deck's fine, then that's fine, because I can still download those games if I like, and I've got about 50 games installed on here anyway. So it's not like I'm kind of not going to be playing any games anytime soon. So when I'm in the mood for this, I just fire it on, play a game. That's me. And I do have this nifty JSOX case as well, and I do have the battery bank in there as well. It's a 20,000 milliamp hour battery bank. So if I need to charge up this thing, I can easily do that. Anyway, guys, yeah, that's it for the end of this video. So, as promised, I was showing off my handheld collection. So, I do have, what's that, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 11 handhelds, and obviously on my Samsung Galaxy Tab S8 Ultra, I've got the WeDream app as well, which plays Dreamcast games perfectly. I do have DuckStation to play PS1 games, even though I can play PS1 games on obviously these four right here. I could play them on my 3DS if I wanted to, but nah. There's not really much point in taking up unnecessary space for PlayStation games when I can play them on this thing. And obviously, any game I want to play, really, they're all pretty much everything you see here, apart from the Nintendo Switch, is modded in some sort of way. It could be software, it could be hardware, like a new shell, or it could be like a flash card, it could be custom firmware. It's crazy. Like these things here are all modded as well. These are all modded. It's great. It's good. It's good to just be able to just grab this, keep it in this case, make sure it's fully charged, fling it in a backpack, and then you're good to go. The thing is though, with like say the PSPs, yeah, these disk drives work at 100%. I could easily throw a game in there. The thing is though, that a lot of people don't realise. I mean, I understand with people that like to collect physical media. I was one of those guys. I would love to. I had like a huge game collection, I had a huge anime collection, DVD collection, Blu-ray collection, even back in the day, videotape collection, because I love to have physical media. But the thing is, though, guys, just bear in mind, if you want a PSP or you have a PSP, I would recommend that you mod it, because yeah, you can get to play all the games for free. There's emulators on there that work amazingly well, especially for the age of this thing. And the thing is though, if you don't have anything that's you could add an hour or two onto your gaming session without having the games obviously grinding away on the disk drive. And plus the disk drive, you can hear how loud some games are as well. So I remember back in the day having a PSP 1000 and playing the first one I ever got. I got Burnout Legends and SmackDown v Raw 2006. And the thing is, I was playing it that much, I had to charge it like twice in the one day, because obviously you're using the disk drive, but back then you didn't have any. Obviously, the store wasn't there at the time, so you couldn't download the games, and obviously all these games installed onto the SD card. But you'll notice a massive, massive difference with obviously the games being on its flash memory, technically. It's just like that's why Sony brought out the PSP Go, even though yes, the PSP Go is a failure, but they were in the right direction. That's why when they brought out the PS Vita, instead of having discs, they were on flashcards. That's how, and obviously you download the games as well, so it becomes flash memory. It does save a lot of battery life as well, so obviously it makes more sense that way. But yeah. Anyway, guys, that's it for the end of this video. I do hope you enjoyed this one. Let me know in the comments down below. Do you have any of these systems? Are they modded? Are they unmodded? Do you like the physical collection? Do you like a digital collection? And let me know down below what your favourite one is, what your favourite game is, what's the game that you always remember playing when you're younger, or even one of those ones that you always go back to. Like for me personally, for each system, Super Mario Land 2 and the 6 golden coins, Minish Cap, Legend of Zelda, the Phantom Hourglass. PSP would be God of War, Ghost of Sparta, also the same for that. 3DS would probably have to be either Project Cross Zone, Fire Emblem Awakening, or Majora's Mask. For the PS Vitas, it would have to be either Mortal Kombat 9 or Metal Gear Solid HD Collection. Oh, those are amazing ports, or even Final Fantasy X. Absolutely amazing. For the Nintendo Switch, I love going back to Doom Eternal. You know, I do love Doom Eternal on Nintendo Switch, but it plays so much better on the Steam Deck. It looks so much better on the Steam Deck. It's absolutely crazy. You know, just think it, guys, in 10 years' time, what's the handhelds going to be like then? Like official handhelds, I'm not talking about third party ones like the Aya Neo and things like that, the GPD ones, the ones that are, you know, that costs, you know, way over $1,000 to get them, you know, whereas in like the Steam Deck is like, you know, even though it's technically budget compared to those ones, but they play either just as well or sorry, guys. I think my budgie thinks it's a hamster. It seems to start chewing the bars these days, even though there's perch covers in there with sandpaper they could be chewing, but they seem to want to chew the bars. You know, it's quite distracting. Anyway, yeah, so obviously the Steam Deck does seem like a budget system compared to obviously those ones, but it's not really, but it just seems that way, you know. Anyway, guys, like I said, that's it for the end of this video. I do hope you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, throw me a devil horns. Also, subscribe to my channel for more epic gaming stuff like this. And sayonara. Oh yeah, guys, before I go, I will be doing more videos on these things as well, separately, just to show maybe my game collections on them as well. You know, just to show some like, maybe custom themes or, you know, splash screens or whatever, you know. So look forward to it, guys. Anyway, sayonara.